Hi everyone, it's Rob Watson, the module leader for TECH1502 Community Media, Introduction to Community Media. This is a short overview of the topics that we'll be covering in the lecture, which is number 15, and it's about creativity and making things, or making stuff. I've posted the notes, they're available on the DMU Commons wiki. If you go to wiki.our.dmu.ac.uk, and look for the TECH1502 page and scroll down to the lecture section, then you should be able to find them there. I've done the PowerPoint slides. As ever, I don't share the slides because there's clips and things like that in them, but they are ready, but the notes are available as they are. So the idea this week is to look at the idea of the way that community media can be embodied in a number of different ways. And a lot of the time we think about community media in terms of its formal relationship with, say, journalism, or its formal relationship with community development. What we tend not to do is to look at community media as, if you like, a creative practice, and something which we can participate in with direct experience, which is based on a kind of an ethic of, we've looked at the before, the kind of DIY magazine style approach. But so this is taking some of the ideas from that kind of a culture, the DIY culture, and bringing it into a kind of sense of community development based around participation and engagement and practices that people enjoy and find companionship through, and a sense of belonging. And yes, they might not kind of change the world, but on a small scale and on an individual basis, they give people something which is nourishing and kind of enabling. So the idea is we're going to use some of the some concepts that were developed by David Gauntlet, who's at the University of Westminster, to kind of ask, kind of what do people get from making things, from craft, knitting groups, from people playing games together, kind of board or card games, those kind of things. People engaging in artistic, creative practice. And we tend to think, David Gauntlet makes the distinction that we tend to think of DIY as kind of like home DIY, kind of fixing things, putting shelves up, that kind of stuff. But there's a real culture certainly in Britain, of making and doing. So making things, whether it's furniture, whether it's clothing, whether it's jewellery and crafts. And now there's a massive industry, and there's a lot of people online talking about kind of craft as a participative pastime that people have. And in a sense, it's a way that we can find a sense of community based around these activities of things that we get a sense of accomplishment excuse me, from what we do, not just from what we kind of participate in. So it's kind of like bringing these ideas in and using the kind of craft ethos in order to give people a kind of platform or a springboard into something which is more participatory, more engaging, more inclusive, and more direct in terms of you actually see a physical project that you get from it, whether it's photography, it could be music, as we talked about previously, or it could be, kind of camping, and woodcraft is a big part of this as well. So we'll look at the idea how this maybe kind of extends a bit further, and I mentioned briefly the Handmade Festival, which is run in Leicester, which is a kind of works on that ethos of a group of people coming together to make their own festival, and how that kind of is different from the kind of the big organised festivals that are kind of run by corporate organisations. We'll also look at the idea of kind of this is an extended sense of creativity, which has gone beyond just people working in small groups, but to be kind of whole networks of people across online who are part of a kind of social network for helping other people to make things and to do things. It's a form of self-expression, and we'll kind of look at the way that this fits into a different model of the economy. So at the moment, the idea that dominates the economy is a sense of kind of transaction, that you pay for something, you buy something, you shop for something. Whereas this kind of says, no, we make something. It's of more value. So it's a gift economy, which is different, and it's reciprocal. So you might receive a gift, but you don't have to give the gift giver anything in return. You can pass a gift on, and you can buy other people gifts. So it moves away from that kind of sense of kind of exchange economy. And this is kind of fits into some creative principles about the way that people kind of shift their mindset, if you like, about the challenges of community organisation and community development, and how enabling people through craft and DIY to have a voice is something which leads to a sense of transformation and a sense of change. And indeed, it leads to a greater sense of what we might call intelligent communities, communities of practice, knowledge communities. And we look at the way that we value the skills that people have already within their communities, and that we create a sense of community by engaging in these interests and activities. So I've got some clips and some video clips to show. If there's any diagrams, I'll include them in the notes. There is some reading with this. There's an article that was published by David Gauntlet, which is called "Making is Connecting," which is well worth a read. And there's also a video, an online video, which is called "Cassette Culture in Central Java." I kind of stumbled across this, and it was really fascinating about how in South America there's an interest, a re-interest in sharing music which is compiled on audio cassettes. And despite CDs and downloads, it's kind of still, and it was really fascinating take, and it's a really great documentary. It was kind of about 20 minutes long, something like that, but it's really worth watching as a kind of way of getting a different angle on the kind of consumption process that we usually engaged in, to making something which is more valuable for people in their own right. So the link for that is up on the wiki. So I'll see you on Tuesday morning.